Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to FPL Talk Part 52, the last of the season of the 24-25 FPL season, game week 38. Look back at what happened last week, and without further ado, I will get you guys seeing what I can see. Hope you're having a great Saturday, even though it's only 8:45. Still time to go. There we go. We're for Champions League final today as well. Exciting, everything's happening. So, real quick look back at what happened last game week 38, the final game week of the Premier League season, Sunday 25th of May, wasn't it? And we had those fixtures, didn't we? Bournemouth beating Leicester by 2-0 the last game of the season. Semenyo getting 2 goals, Zabanu and a assist, 3 goals for Semenyo. 3 bonus points for Semenyo. Would be nice to get 3 goals, wouldn't it? 2 for Semenyo and 1 for Tavernier, and 3-0, 2-0 win. Fulham losing to Manchester City in the last game of the season. Haaland and Gundogan getting the goals with Nunes and Gundogan assist. Bonus points went 3 to Gundogan, 2 for Guardiola, and 1 for Ruben Dias, and a 2-0 win for Manchester City against Fulham. Ipswich losing to West Ham. Broder getting the goal and Kajust getting the assist. But otherwise, Bowen, goal, Kudus, and a Ward-Prowse goal. Wan-Bissaka, Bowen, and a Rodriguez assist in that game. Bonus points were 3 Bowen, 2 to Ward-Prowse, 1 to Kudus, and Broadhead got the other one in a 3-1 win for West Ham. Liverpool drawing to Crystal Palace in the last game of the season. Mo Salah getting the goal with Gakpo assist. Ismail Assar with that really good goal, and Mitchell assist in that game. Gravenberch did get a red. But otherwise, the bonus points went 3 to Salah, 2 to Gakpo, and 2 to Ismail Assar. Actually, tell a lie, you got 2. Man United beating Aston Villa convincingly as well, 2-0. Amad Diallo and Ericsson goal, Amad Diallo assist, and Bruno Fernandes assist in that game. Red card for Martinez, the goalkeeper. Otherwise, bonus points went 3 to Amad Diallo, 2 to Heaven, 1 to Bruno Fernandes, and 1 to Dorgu, and Man United 2-0 win. Newcastle versus Everton, they lost, didn't they? Alcaraz getting that goal and Mikolenko assist in that game. Bonus points went 3 to Pickford, 2 to Alcaraz, and 1 to Mikolenko. Chelsea beat Nottingham Forest by that goal to the Colwell goal, winning the game for them with a Neto assist in a 1-0 win. Colwell 3 bonus points, 2 to Cucurella and 1 to Tosson in that game. Arsenal beating Southampton 2-1 on the final day. Stewart with a goal with a Fernandes assist, but otherwise Odegaard and Tierney getting those goals. Trossard and White with the assists. Bonus points went 2 to Tierney, 3 to Stewart, 1 to Fernandes, and 1 to Odegaard. And then we got Spurs losing to Brighton 4-1. Solanke in the goal and Tell with the assist to Spurs. But otherwise, Hinchelwood double, O'Reilly and Gomez with the goals for Brighton. Mitoma, Webster, and Gomez with the assists. Bonus points went 1 to Solanke, 3 to Hinchelwood, and 2 to Gomez. And the final game to cover is Munetzi getting that goal for Wolves in a 1-1 draw to Brentford. Strand Larsen with the assist, and Buemo and Norgard with the assist for Brentford. 2 bonus points for Munetzi, 3 bonus points for Norgard, and 1 for Buemo. And that's the results from the last weekend. A lot of you guys already know you're checking your teams, I'm sure, keeping an eye. But here's what happened to me. I hit a 68, which I'm pretty happy about. Not happy about 1 or 2 players, but you go with the flow. The average point, as I say, every single game, the average point is to beat. 46 was the average. This week, I beat it by a juicy 20. Well, less than 22, isn't it? It's 18, that'll be. But that's still good. That's still really good. Edison getting me 7 in goal with that clean sheet from Manchester City. Huijsen came on and got an assist in the game for Bournemouth. Kanata got 2, didn't do too great. Nico Williams got 2, didn't do too great. Saka got a cameo and got 1. And Buemo did well as always. Bowen was the man, wasn't he, really, with 13. Well done, anyone who captained him. Mo Salah, I captained, I got 20, so I'm happy with that. Rogers got a yellow card and a 1-pointer. Against Man United, didn't do too great. Cunha got 2, didn't do too great. And Isak started and played the game, which is the most important thing for Newcastle, but didn't score or get any points. Areola got 0. Didn't play, surprisingly, but I think it was a Fabianski farewell game. Mamouche got 2, Kiwior got 2, and Byrne got 2, so all my bench players got to. So in total, I got 6 off the bench. Not great for a bench boost. The rest of the outfield team did well, though. And in total, 68 points accumulated on the last game of the season. As always, ladies and gents, let me know how your team is doing. I'm on all the socials. I'm on AJ 1985p, should I say. I'm obviously on YouTube, which is where the video goes after upload it. AJ Hardy 85, and don't forget I'm also on the wonderful Facebook AJP85 channel, and I'm on Twitch A_J_P_P_8_5. Let your friends and family know that I'm doing a wonderful, or was doing a wonderful FPL chat and live tour on Saturday mornings. Now, this is the last video of the season. As such, we will look at some information for next season and for what's occurred for this season as well, so you can see. Let me know how many points you've got. Let me know where you finished off overall. As you can see in the corner of my screen there, didn't do too great this season. 1,576,000, really quite poor when you think about how I tend to do. I've been under 1 million for a couple of years, but this season was quite challenging. You know, the whole resurgence of Chris Wood, the teams dropping off. Man City's performance has been quite poor. Arsenal being a bit up and down. The resurgence of Liverpool as well, doing really well this season. So, yeah, lots to learn about really in that sense. So, if we look at the teams, the last team, this is the person who won FPL overall and their team the final game week. So they lost. They used transfer, got -4. Average of 43 pointer, which was this sort of game week. You got 83 in the end. Areola I said this is the last thing. We're looking at the last few game weeks, by the way, in case you're wondering. So Areola was his goalkeeper for game week 36. This was Munoz, Livramento, Guardiola, Bowen, Eze, Salah, and Buemo, De Bruyne, Isak, and Wood. So he got most of his points in that team, apart from Konza. So yeah, good team that one really. When you think about 83 points, then last game week gave me 37. He got 7 goals, 61 in total. Konza being the man that he's put in. Bowen, Eze, and Buemo. Watkins being a big change there as well. He's brought in for Isak. So yeah, Kiwior on the bench. Lots of changes there as well. Double Arsenal defensively. And then the final game week, which was game week 38 for everyone, 62. So he didn't get the greatest points. I actually got more than him on the last game week. Probably quite a few people did. Even Nielsen, he went for just a bit of a punt up front. Watkins, punt up front. Wood. Buemo, Salah, and Bowen, which was the kind of go-to trio in midfield, really, isn't it? And then he went Guardiola, where I went Ederson. Livramento, I had Burn, but I didn't play him. Kiwior, I had Kiwior as well. Ryo, I didn't play at double Arsenal that game week. Areola out of the bench as well. So I did Eze, Konza. So basically, his team has consisted of, for quite a few weeks, Ryo in goal, and Areola on the bench, or Areola as a backup player, which is basically what I've been playing for quite a bit of the season. He's obviously had slightly better players, and he's gone Munoz, and I had Lacroix for the double game week. Eze, he went with Ishmael Sarr, should have gone Eze. Mateta, we all had as well. Isak, we had. Mamouche, I had as well. And Buemo, Salah. He didn't go Saka. He's gone with Rodgers and a stronger defence as well, because he's obviously got Guardiola and Livramento. I had Burn and Ederson in goal. So, yeah, look at the team. I think we're not a million miles off for the past few game weeks in terms of points. And yet he led the season, really probably because of his Wood punt. Everyone jumps on that bandwagon. I think next season, one thing to learn, and I think a lot of people will probably do this anyway, is be quick to see, potentially foresee these. So if a player starts scoring and there's maybe give it 1 to 2 weeks, but don't wait. My biggest, I wouldn't say regret, but questionable decision this season has been keeping Haaland longer than needed to, keeping Nicholas Jackson longer than needed to. They were scoring and then they went quiet. And I believed, like a lot of people who kept those players, they would start scoring again, and it never happened, really, which is a shock, really, because Haaland, you don't expect him to completely fall off a cliff with his form, and yet he did. So, yeah, something to remember this season. Otherwise, the rest of the team was fairly decent. Isak was good. Burn was okay for Newcastle, wasn't he, for quite a while. Raya in goal was a good shout. Obviously, there was Matt Sells who got the Golden Glove alongside Raya as well this season. So the two of them got the same amount of clean sheets. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that Raya choice, sticking with that cheap defensive option. Kanate I brought in briefly as well, looking at him next season, definitely, because Liverpool just signed Frimpong. Not that they're necessarily going to play him all the time, but that's competition straight away for Bradley. I was thinking I'll get Bradley, and Conor Bradley could be a cheeky way into the Liverpool defence on that right side. Probably not sure now. They've signed that sort of right back from Bayer Leverkusen in Jeremy Frimpong. Is he now going to take that right back berth ahead of Bradley? So back to the idea of maybe Konate in defence, provided he doesn't fall apart with injury. So yeah, I've already sort of pictured a lot of my team that I've got now. If I look at my team this second that I have already, a lot of this team might stay quite similar. Mamouche we'll see. Perhaps Wood. Again, Wood is at a one-off season he's had with Nottingham Forest. Lots of questions, really. The rest of that team looks pretty good, pretty stable. So providing the prices don't go too crazy, obviously Huijsen's going to leave. He's off to Real Madrid. Nico Williams might be a good shout still to keep from Forest. Burn, defensively, an option definitely for Newcastle. Konate, not Kiwior, obviously. It might be kick out Kiwior, bring in, I don't know, someone else at 4.5 and then go Raya in goal. And then we've got Saka, Rodgers, possibly Rodgers, maybe a la Amad Diallo. I think he's come back from injury, done really well for Man United, but it's Man United, isn't it, really? Amad Diallo, Rodgers, you've got quite a few in that bracket. I think Amad Diallo will probably stay at that price as well. Despite him doing quite well at the end of the season, I think Rodgers might go up in price because he's done really well for Villa. And Buemo, definitely want to keep an eye on again as well. Salah and Bowen, yes, again. Isak, perhaps Cunha maybe, because he might be going to Manchester United. Delap is another one up front I'm looking at and considering for Chelsea, depending on how they perform. And then there's no Palmer just yet. So that's something, lots of thoughts really in terms of players to bring in. Areola, I think, might go up in price. So perhaps looking at 4.5 goalkeeper from the Leeds, the Burnley, or the Sunderland promoted teams, getting that cheap way into their defence, just to have on the bench essentially. But otherwise, I can't see a major change from this final team, into next season. In that sense, the plus side is this is the fan team of the season, and the seasons themselves. I can see that definitely. Munoz, I can see that too. Saliba and Van Dijk are an interesting one. Perhaps Kirkes, yes, to a degree, but Bournemouth have been, pretty good. Salah, yes. Gravenberch didn't get many points. Rice did well towards the end of the season, but again, don't forget, he's a sort of box-to-box midfielder within reason. And Buemo, yes. Isak, yes. And Wood. So I agree with, in terms of points, not necessarily the fans' team of the season, but in terms of points scored, I can see a lot of those players doing quite well, bar Gravenberch, Rice, and maybe Van Dijk. But otherwise, the rest of the players did quite well in that season itself. So yeah, looking at the next season, we don't know anything about it. We know that there is a Club World Cup coming up, so something to keep an eye on really in terms of how teams perform. The big teams that are inside, don't forget that starts in June as well, so definitely something to keep an eye on. We have a Champions League final. It has no effect whatsoever on the teams in the Premier League, but it'll be interesting to see who wins that. Don't forget that's tonight as well. That's Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan. But we'll definitely have that on in the background, 100%. There's nothing to look at price predictor-wise. So my picks for next season are very simple. And it's pretty typical. You're probably going to say, well, obviously. But for those of you who are not entirely sure, I will give you a heads up, really, from this season. We can look first and foremost at who got the highest points scored. Pickford, Sells, and Raya are the top, maybe Flecken inside there, but I think Flecken they're selling Flecken, aren't they, Brentford? And are looking at the goalkeeper from Liverpool, Coim, isn't it? Who didn't play much really. So perhaps Kelleher if he joins Brentford, but otherwise Pickford, Sells, Raya, and maybe Kelleher for Brentford if he moves. Henderson did quite well as well, so potentially that. But my honest opinion, the way I'm going to go and call it very particular, tunnel vision, I think I'm going to go Raya in goal again. I just think Arsenal assets are quite expensive, really, defensively. So I'd probably go with Raya again if the season started now, 25-26. Pickford, Sells maybe again as well. So Sells versus Raya. You can get defensive players, can't you, for Nottingham Forest? Then you've got, in terms of defence, as I said a few minutes ago, I'd probably go with Konate again. Defensively, Nico Williams again, I probably would go with, because I thought he did quite well attackingly. And obviously, he didn't get the goals from the headers, but he did get the points in general in the end. But according to this, Gvardiol was the man to go to, as was Trent, who's left now for Real Madrid. Milenkovic, Virgil, Munoz, Kirkez, Cucurella, Saliba, Murillo, Aina. Collins did well, Nori, Mitchell, Mikolenko. So quite a few players. In my honest opinion, I think Nico Williams would be at the top half of that. He's a 109, but he would have been quite high up if he'd have played pretty much every single game like the rest of the Forest players played. So you'd see Nico Williams in this top half. So yeah, that's good to know. So Nico Williams would be in straight away. Kirkus did quite well for them. Burn. The interesting part is Newcastle. Shah was there. Burn was there. Yeah, I suppose Burn again. So yeah, there'll be obviously a slot where Kiwior is right now for a 4.5 million player potentially, or maybe even cheaper, because I would want to try and squeeze in someone like Cole Palmer into this team. Perhaps sacrificing someone like Rodgers and a forward and getting in a cheap forward. So that'll be fine. That's good. Defense would be looked at in that sense. Saka would start the season for me, and Buemo would start the season for me as well. Salah would potentially start the season as well. Bowen, maybe. We'll see, because sometimes Bowen's a bit up and down with form, isn't he, really? You think when you watch Bowen, he'll score, then he probably won't do anything for about 2 or 3 games, and he'll score again, and he'll go on this purple patch. So Bowen is definitely someone I'd consider bringing in as well for next season. Don't know if I'd start with him. A lot of the teams and the players, you watch the first game week and you determine how they're going to do, or you watch a lot of pre-season and they don't play the same, or you don't have the same team. So a lot of this team might stay quite similar next season for me, just purely because I can't see them leaving. None of these teams, apart from Hussein in this team, like the second, is leaving. Kiwior probably won't start, so obviously Edison will be out. Raya will probably start the season for me in goal, and then the rest of that team might look quite similar up front. Not sure. It depends what City do now with Marmoush, because he seems to be in the team, out the team, doing the hokey cokey. Cunha would join Man United, so may go up in price. Whether he has the same kind of impact, not sure. I'd be more inclined to maybe go Amad Diallo in midfield for Rodgers, and then have that money to play with up front, and then bring in a Wood maybe if Wood performs and carries on scoring and playing well for Nottingham Forest. But will they get found out next season, Forest? They looked a little bit lacklustre towards the end, ran out of steam. Is that because teams found them out and knew what they were doing in their performances? Who knows? But in theory, I think things like Cunha and Mamouche are 2 players that I probably wouldn't start with next season. Isak I will. Wood maybe, and then a really cheap sort of 4.5 million, maybe even Stewart. But Stewart's left Southampton. He's gone with Southampton. So I don't even know what kind of 4.5 million. I think Jebison, wasn't he? I think Jebison was quite cheap for. I think Jebison was the cheapest 4.5 forward in the end, as far as I'm aware. Let's have a quick look. Or one of the cheapest. Yeah, to Scarlett J. Robinson. No, Jebison wasn't even cheapest. I don't even know where Jebison was. So yeah, he has 4.5 on the dot. He's pretty much, he's not going to get any playing time with Evan Nilsson. So you'd have to look at this, maybe Scarlett or something like that. Maybe even one from the Leeds, again, Burnley and Sunderland trio coming up into the Premier League, looking at their forward line, seeing if any of those players might play. 4 million defender, maybe from one of those guys as well. Might be quite useful if he's starting. So lots to think about next season. I finished this season with 68. Quite happy with that. Let me enjoy season with that. Did bench boost in all fairness as well, but that's because I had that tip left over. Next season, I don't know if we're going to get such a good opportunity to do an assistant manager and a triple captaincy at a time period. So we will see. We'll definitely see. I hope you had a fantastic 24-25 FPL season. Hope you did well. Hope you enjoyed it. Any $46 did quite well there. Bench boosted on the last game. Okay, fixtures, bit up and down season in terms of teams. That's my summary, really, of what's happened. Man City being the biggest surprise in terms of their drop-off. I banked on a few of their players doing well this season, and they didn't. That being Haaland being the main one. But yeah, really enjoyed it. I think it's quite challenging, even though, you know, my ranking isn't the greatest in the world. It doesn't change the fact that it's been quite interesting to try and maneuver that and do things and change and chop and change a lot of my players and teams. Bandwagons is something you've got to jump on quite early and quite quickly, otherwise you lose out on points. So lots to learn really from everyone. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it and had fun, and let me know how you've done in your mini league. If you're in mini leagues, let me know how many points you've got overall, and where you sit in terms of the overall leaderboard. I'm sure you've done better than 1,500,000, maybe not, who knows. But that's the fun of this game, isn't it, really? That's the team that I finished the season with. I'll scroll it down so you can see one last time. But otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the FPL 24-25 season from me, AJ. I hope you've had a super season for FPL. I hope you've had a great rest of the day. Don't forget, it's going to be sunny here in the UK. If you're around here, I think it's going to be 20-odd degrees, 22 degrees, especially in England. So I hope you have a super rest of your Saturday. It has been FPL part 52, game week 38. Overview, really, of what's just gone and what's to come next season. And it's going to be good fun. I'm looking forward to next season. I really am already. I can't wait for FPL to open up its doors for the 25-26 season. I've already got a few players in mind. My team might look quite similar to how it ended, but otherwise, I'm genuinely interested about how Leeds do, how Burnley do, how Sunderland are going to perform. Looking at their players, how they're going to get priced, how new players are going to get priced, how old players are going to get priced, and Bremer might go up, and all the other players as well. So definitely intrigued about that. So that's pretty much where I stand. I'm excited. I'm intrigued. I've finished this season well-ish. Again, when I say well-ish, I look at the average points. That's how I determine whether it's good or not. You guys have mini leagues, so you probably determine where you finish as being how well you've done. So hopefully you've done well. The biggest problem you've got is don't join mini leagues where there's money on it. I've heard so much about this, about how much they've lost, discrepancies, how it's been unfair. A lot of teams have, scored goals and they've been cancelled with VAR and all that rubbish. So, yeah, we will see. We will see. But otherwise, ladies and gents, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, thank you so much for watching all of my videos. This has been part 52 of 52 videos. I'll be doing them again, hopefully next season as well, when the season starts. In fact, just prior to that, when the FPL open their windows for us to get straight into the game and start adding players, I will have a quick look at that and start my videos, give or take around that point. But otherwise, it has been a wonderful, wonderful season. I've really enjoyed it. Very challenging in patches. Well done to Liverpool. Well done to Crystal Palace for doing well in the Cups. Really, really, really good. And obviously, the guys over at Newcastle did superb as well in the Carabao. Chelsea for winning the Conference League as well the other day. Tottenham for winning the Europa League as well. Arsenal for not winning the Champions League, but we came we were in the semi-finals, and that is apparently deemed to be a win. So I will see you guys next season. Check it out, all the videos. Let your friends and family know I've done some stuff. Look back over them if you're interested. Pass them over to your friends and family and any strangers. But I'll see you sensational people next season for more FPL talk. We'll do FPL talk season 25-26 part 1 will be coming to you guys most likely in July and August when they let us into the game, and we'll have a quick look at some prices, players, and the promoted teams. Prices, players, and promoted teams. We'll check them out next season. Take it easy. Hope you have a good rest of the Saturday. Hope you have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll see you sensational people very soon. Keep an eye on my X, and we'll see how we go. AJ 1985p rather, and YouTube AJ Hardy 85. Take it easy. I've been AJ.